All right. Well, thank you so much for being on today, you guys. My name is Erin Bush, and I'm a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus. And I really love coffee chats because it's kind of like just a good conclusion to the week while also being motivating to get into the next week. So I don't know, this is like one of my favorite times of the week, truly. So I'm so excited to be here because today we're going to have some special guests speak, and I think you're going to be super inspired and just feel like their stories are relatable to yours. I know that when I was growing from silver to emerald, I was constantly soaking up every single thing that the jewels and diamonds were saying because I wanted to grow too. And I know that you're doing the same thing. But at the same time, it was so nice to hear from people who were learning with me. They were I'm still learning too. So and every jewel on this team, believe me, we do not have it perfect. We do not have it all, set up and know exactly what we're doing at all times. We may know a little more, but doesn't mean we're perfect at it. But it was so good to hear from people who were in the trenches with me getting to emerald. So, and one of the things we talk about all the time, and it's just like a constant phrase in our vocabulary, is this concept of the comfort zone. And I'll speak a little bit about that later if we have some time, but I started thinking about my own personal comfort zone and what that actually definition meant to me. And it's not, I don't think it's really all we chalk it up to. In fact, my theory is if you even know and want to get out of your comfort zone, that means that you're not very comfortable in your comfort zone, right? Or you wouldn't want to get out of it. And you wouldn't want to, like, so many people have told me over these past 6 years that I've been doing a business is like, I know what I need to do. I just need to do it. And I don't want to, or this obstacle is keeping me, or I'm fearful that, whatever. But the fact that they know anyway means that they're uncomfortable in their comfort zone. And isn't it true that being uncomfortable is the first step to actually growing? Like, because we know that there's an issue, right? We know that there's something wrong and we've got to fix it, whether it's mindset or in a relationship or your health or whatever. You know that there's got to be some movement and growth in order to get out of the situation that you're currently in. Real quick, I want to read to you what psychologists, call the comfort zone. It refers to a psychological state in which we feel safe, which is interesting. That's different than comfortable, isn't it? Which we feel safe, which means it must actually develop from fear. All right, so which we feel safe and do not experience anxiety or fear. It is a space that we know completely and in which we control almost everything. The habits that we follow are those that allow us to build this comfort zone since we know exactly what to expect. How many times have you not built a new network, built new prospects, and you just keep going back to the same people who have told you no over and over and over? And your jewel does a challenge and they're like, you get to be put into a drawing if you message 10 people about whatever. And you get a raffle for some Plexus swag. And how many times have you gone and you have messaged the same 10 people that have told you no for a year? Instead of looking out to new potentials, you know what the outcome's going to be. The outcome's going to be no. But hey, you got your messages in, so you get to be put in the raffle. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about comfort zone. By minimizing uncertainty, we feel that we have everything more or less under control, so we believe we are safe. So today we're going to talk to 3 people who knew they were in that spot and decided to stop playing it safe. All right, the first person who's going to be speaking is Allison Bruce. She's a dear friend of mine, and this girl has done so much, where she has not only built a Plexus business, she owns a CrossFit business. She's a CrossFit coach. She just came from some amazing competition in Arizona where she placed and did amazing. And this is someone who I would look at and say, yep, she is getting comfortable, getting outside her comfort zone over and over and over, including building her own CrossFit business. So that has played a big part in her growth and in her really good customer relations and so on and so forth in her team. Not only that, but Allison, if you remember, you did not want to post on Facebook and you were really uncomfortable with it. And now when you post, you get dozens and dozens of comments. And the way you post is so engaging and people love to see what you do. So Allison's going to share a little bit about her growth, about what she views comfort zone as, and just give you some nuggets of wisdom from her perspective. Okay, I'm asking you to unmute. I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Erin. What's funny is Erin knows I don't actually love to be in front of people. I have confidence in a lot of areas, but speaking in front of people is not one of them. So this in and of itself is kind of getting, a little bit pushing that capacity. So Erin had already shared, I didn't really realize she was going to share the definition, but I had looked up some, where does that term come from, comfort zone? The phrase was actually coined by a woman named Judith Bardwick in 1991 in her work, Danger in the Comfort Zone. And she defines it very similarly, but a couple of phrases I wanted to point out. It's a behavioral state within which a person operates in an anxiety-neutral condition using a limited set of behaviors to deliver a steady level of performance, usually without a sense of risk. So a little bit different wording, but the same idea. And a couple of the key phrases, it's anxiety neutral, limited set of behaviors, steady level of performance without risk. So it's safe, it's comfortable, it's totally okay if you're satisfied with where you're at. If you are content and you don't mind a plateau and you just want steady state, it's not a bad thing to operate within your comfort zone. Most people don't want anxiety. They don't want risk. It's safe. But I'm going to assume that if you're part of this call and you're doing this business and you're taking time out of your Saturday morning, you're not content. Like she said, there's something asking you to do more. You want to make more income. You want to acquire more skills. You want to have a bigger impact. So what do we do with that? How do we build that capacity? One of my phrases that I love and will use all the time, my hashtag do hard things. That's kind of my motto right now. Become comfortable being uncomfortable. And that is with my business, the Plexus business, that's with my CrossFit business, that's with my own competition and competitor side in the sport, is becoming comfortable being uncomfortable. So for me, it's about building capacity, and that's kind of how I term it, capacity outside my comfort zone, because I don't want to plateau. I do want more. The key is, and if you studied this at all, there's a curve that they'll talk about. Here's the comfort zone, here's where growth happens in the upward curve, but then there is a spot on the other side that's too far, too fast. And in that state, you are stressed, you typically are paralyzed, and fear takes over, and so you can't actually grow. So I do think there is a too far, too fast. I think it's more about building capacity a little at a time. So Erin told you I'm a gym owner. I have to use a gym analogy. This time last year, for instance, I was not cycling, cycling 5 handstand push-ups at a time, let's say, and lifting 140 pounds front squat. This year, I'm training at the same level of intensity, the same hours at the gym, but I have built a bigger capacity for strength and skill. So now I can cycle 10 handstand push-ups, and I have 180 pounds on the bar. Now, I would never have gone and thrown on 40 pounds and then gone for a lift. I have slowly built up that capacity by growing and getting stronger a little at a time in strength and skill. So I built that capacity. If I had thrown on too much weight too fast, I would have gotten hurt. Okay. And I would have stalled out, and then I couldn't train at all. So that other side of that, where you go too far, too fast, or too much, is where we can, the fight or flight kicks in. And then we're paralyzed and we do nothing. And Aaron kind of mentioned that. Like, I know what I need to do, but now I don't know, I can't do it. I can't force myself to do it. And I think that's because maybe we tried too much, too fast, or we got overwhelmed. And so then we just were paralyzed. So actually, one of our team members, I love what she shared this week. I don't know if Rachel Duck is on the call, but she shared, she went to the gym for the first time this week, a gym class. And she said, you know, this is coming from someone who has been insecure, has body shaming issues. I've never been in a gym before, and I went to my first class. And I was so inspired by that, because years ago, she would never have just gone to a gym class with that kind of history and emotional issues. But because she has grown professionally and personally over these years, and now as a Jewel, her mind and body was in a place that then she could go into that gym class and expand. She had expanded her capacity outside her comfort zone, where she showed up to the gym class this week, and I was just celebrating with her. That was really cool. So as you think about building that capacity, Aaron asked me to specifically talk about social media. And if you go look at my social media, my Facebook account right now, you're not going to be overly impressed. It is not a Natalie Johnson or a Maria. Like, I'm still figuring out quality photos and lighting and Photoshop. And, I don't even know all the effects yet on stories, but it's not about where I am right now. It's about where I've come from and the capacity that I've built. When I started this business, I think I had 250 something friends on Facebook. I never posted, very rarely. I was very intimidated by it. My underlying issue is fear of other people's opinions. And so I would never say anything or comment that would ever rock the boat or put anything out there. So, but over the years, I have built my capacity a little at a time in different areas, so that now I feel like I'm consistently posting. I typically have a story up of some kind. I'm building my network. I'm doing the things that are helping expand that capacity. So I kind of wanted to talk about a few things that I'm doing on Facebook in particular. And like I said, I'm not comfortable yet with Instagram. TikTok completely overwhelms me, although I think that is the next big platform for social selling. So I'm not there yet either. But I'm still, like, we're talking about, is just slowly building capacity. So I divided up in three things. The first thing is I am always looking to grow my audience. I'm always looking to stay connected to my audience. And then I always want to keep my audience's attention. So the ways that I do that, growing my audience, I try to be very active in groups. And there was a time where I would never comment or post or put anything out there in a group. And so now I'm actually asking questions, and I'm answering, I'm posting. I have a huge German Shepherd. I'm in a German Shepherd group. So I'm trying to be active in those areas. I am sending friend requests a day. So I try to aim for 3 to 5 new friends a day. I don't even worry or hang out to see if they decline my request, because that would be personal and that would be negative. And, I just send it out there. If they want to connect with me, that'd be awesome. And then I welcome the opportunity to meet new people. There would be a time where I'd walk into a social setting and I would be hesitant and I would be overwhelmed. And now I look for the opportunity and I practice being bold. I introduce myself first to people. I try to make a connection. I learn their names because they're probably thinking the same thing I am and are a little bit overwhelmed. So instead of hanging back, I practice being the first one to speak, or the first one to introduce myself. And then staying connected to my audience. You have figured out Facebook algorithms, your friends are not seeing all of your posts. You're not seeing all of their posts. So some ways that I try to stay connected. I love sending birthday messages. It is so fun to hear from hundreds of people on your birthday, some that you haven't talked to in a long time. So I try to just write a really thoughtful birthday message in Messenger. As soon as someone does send me a friend request, I try to go to their timeline and say, look at a recent post and comment on it or like it. I want them to know immediately that I noticed that they accepted and I appreciated them wanting to connect to me. And then I see them. And then other times, if I just thinking of someone, I'll send them a thoughtful message. Handwritten notes, you guys, are a thing of the past. If someone gets a handwritten note from you, they remember that. And then most recently, old customers. I realized a lot of my old customers I am not connecting with or have not connected with in a long time. So I made a huge list of them. And I'm going to either their Facebook page and just kind of seeing what they're up to these days, because I clearly haven't connected on Facebook, haven't seen their post, and try to comment. And then the last thing is, and this is seasonal, but I keep everyone's Christmas cards and put them on a ring. And I sent all of them a thank you note. With COVID and shipping and pricing and all of that, it was really hard for people to get out Christmas cards this year. And so I just sent them a note like, hey, I really appreciate you keeping me on your Christmas list. I keep every one of these cards. I hope you had a great holiday. So just ways that I'm trying to kind of stay connected so that they're seeing what I'm putting out. The last thing is how to keep your audience's attention. And I think that's what Aaron was kind of referring to. I do get a lot of engagement typically. And I've really struggled over the years with quality posting, but here's kind of my overarching goal with social media posting now is I'm prioritizing quality over quantity. There was a time when I was overwhelmed with posting, once or twice a day. I didn't feel like I had time to get quality content together, so I wasn't excited about it. And so I have decided to do quality over quantity, even if that means I only post 2 or 3 really good Plexus posts a week or personal post. And I try to run them through litmus of 3 things. I am either entertaining, I'm educating, or I'm inspiring. There's so much negativity and so many opinions and all of that these days on social media. You want to be refreshing. You want to be someone that when people check out whether they want to accept your friend requests, like, are you entertaining? Are you educating? Are you inspiring? So whatever will make you stand out. I'm not particularly funny, so I'm not going to entertain you with funny things most of the time. But I do have cute kids. I have a huge dog. I do some crazy things at the gym that I'll share that catch people's attention sometimes. So whatever's unique about you that can entertain. People need to laugh and be entertained these days. Or you educate. You share some unique knowledge that you have that will benefit them. So one of the things my husband does before I post is he kind of reads and checks it out, and he'll ask me some questions, like, what's the call to action? What's interesting about that? What is their takeaway going to be? And if I can't answer those questions, then that's not something I'm going to share. It needs to be something that's going to benefit the other person. That may be, recipes that my picky kids will eat. That may be mom hacks or a deal at some store, but something that's going to be valuable for them. And then the last thing is to inspire. I try to do motivating, encouraging, positive things that will inspire people to action, that will inspire people to pursue goals. And this is where was probably the hardest thing for me is using my own stories, telling my story, opening myself up to letting other people see what I'm struggling with, what I'm celebrating, big goals that I'm after. This is where you'd share testimonies, even your own. And my husband gave me a good example to share about this. Another area, I am hesitant to share me at the gym if, for instance, I am only in like a sports bra and pants, because I've come from a very conservative background. You should never have your shirt off. I'm sure people from my home church cringe when they see that, but he said, one of the things that inspires people is your physique. At 40 years old, for you to be doing some of the things that you're doing and be healthy and strong, that is inspiring. And so that has been another area where I had to just kind of let go of what other people might think. I don't think it's immodest, but and allow some inspiration in my post. So the last thing I wanted to say is just remember that you have control over your own account. This is your personal social media account. And I shared that I am the other people's opinions has been what has held me back mostly in this business and in social media. And so it is okay, because it's your account, to delete, to unfollow, to block messages. If someone is going to be rude on your post and make you feel yucky, or be discouraging to your audience, it's totally okay. It's your account. You can remove them. You can block that post. Don't allow other people to paralyze you on this platform. And what I found is when I do post from the heart and I share ways to entertain or educate or inspire, then when I post something about Plexus, I almost always will have at least one new customer, one new conversation. And so, do the post. I say it's worth the one. So don't be afraid to put yourself out there and build your capacity in the social media area. That's it.
Allison, wait, don't mute yourself yet.
Okay.
I have a question. This is so good, but I would love for you to repeat the questions that Bob asks you. You started with what's the call to action? And then I think I missed, because I'm writing notes.
Okay. Oh goodness.
You forget now?
What do you want them to learn? What's the call to action? I did forget. What's the takeaway?
Okay.
Maybe it's how are you inspiring them to change? Anyway.
Yes. So what I love what's the call to action, especially that's so good, because what do you want them to do with that particular post?
Maybe it was, is that going to excite them? Because he read one this week and was like, that's so boring. That doesn't interest me. Okay, you're right.
Will this excite them? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. You guys, don't you love that? Be refreshing. That was so good. Like, I just took 2 pages of notes, but that was really stood out to me. I love this so much. And you gave us actual, our own call to action on what to do. So thank you so much, Allison. This is so good. And your litmus test, entertaining, educating, or inspiring, prioritize quality over quantity, and then growth capacity, like just expanding your capacity. Isn't that non-intimidating, you guys? That you don't have to be that big, huge jump, because you don't want to fall into a paralyzed state. So you're expanding your capacity. So good. Thank you so much for sharing. It's awesome. Now you need to read the comments and see what everybody's saying. All right. Thank you so much. I want Heather to share her story of what she did to do exactly what Allison's talking about, expand her capacity. So Heather, are you on? I think I just saw you.
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Will you please share some times in your business where you have done exactly this?
Sure. This right here is expanding my capacity. This is not comfortable for me at all. Talking in front of people. I don't think it's comfortable for a lot of people. I've heard people talk about public speaking, and they would rather die than speak publicly. And sometimes I feel that is very true. But for me personally, I know Erin is referencing 2 specific times in my business where I really had to push outside my comfort zone to get different results. So in 2018, when we had the Leaders Retreat Cruise, I was a silver ambassador, and I decided on August I don't even know what it was, like August 3rd or something, when I had 0 points for Leaders Retreat, that I was going to push to earn Leaders Retreat as a silver ambassador with 0 people working the business on my team. And I did. I earned it, but of course by that point, I mean, it was like 8:59 p.m. on August 31st. But I did it. You know, I pushed outside my comfort zone. I made that happen. I think I messaged 400 plus people on Facebook, which is, that's not me. Um, the just messaging just people on Facebook and seeing if they're interested in what I had to offer, but also approaching it to some people in a way. So I'm a yellow. And if you know like the different color categories, then you understand that a yellow is someone who wants to help people. I'm very much a red. I'm very competitive. But more than that, I would probably help you beat me. Like, I mean, they're like kind of right there. Like, I want to win, but I don't want to see you fail either. So I'm very much a helper, which means that a lot of the people that are close to me in my network are the same. Erin is my direct upline. She's my sponsor. And I know that Erin is also a yellow. But so one of the things that I did when I was reaching out to people was messaging them and asking them to help me. Like, can I help you on your health journey? And in return, you're helping me to earn my cruise. That was kind of how I had approached that Leaders Retreat contest when I was messaging people. And then I sent a bunch of messages to people that I've never even talked to before in my life. Some of them I don't even have a clue how or why we're friends on Facebook. But it did spark a lot of conversations, and I did start seeing new people in my feed. And that was just way outside my comfort zone. I know at the beginning of the call, and I had to switch from my computer to my phone because for whatever reason, Zoom doesn't like my computer. I know Erin was mentioning about going in and just messaging like the same 10 people, or you have a wellness event and you send the same invites to the same 10 people for like a year, you know, where you're just hounding the same people. And I know in the beginning, I worked on expanding my network, but then I kind of got to that point where I was like stalled out and just reaching out to the same people. Hey, remember me? Yeah, you do, because I reached out to you last week or whatever. But so that really took a lot of courage for me to message people that I wouldn't normally have messaged or talked to, or I mean, for that matter, even thought about, because I didn't even know they existed. But that was how I had overcome that. And just, I don't know. I mean, you get to that point where you're like afraid, but you have to do it anyway, or you're never going to get something that you don't have by doing something that you don't want to do. A long time ago in Plexus, somebody said, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. I don't know whoever said it. I don't even know where the quote came from, but I say it all the time to my kids. I repeat it to myself all the time because I truly believe that. There you go. Somebody in the comments said Henry Ford. It's true. I mean, if you sit back and you think, I can't promote in my business, I can't reach out to people, I can't speak publicly, I can't get on this Zoom call, I can't pick up the phone and call these people, I don't know what to say, so on and so forth. You're right, you can't. Because if you don't believe you can, how are you going to do any of these things? But if you can accept the fact that, okay, you might not be that great at public speaking, you might not be, you might not have all the answers, but could you practice and get better? The more lives you do, the better you get. Maybe. I don't know. I'm still working on that. But the more you talk about the business to people, the more people you reach out to, the more conversations you have, the more you have the opportunity to ask questions to your upline, to dig into your back office and learn about the products. the more you know about the product, so the more conversations you can have with people, because now you know things. Maybe when you're digging into an answer for a question, you learn something about the meta burn that you didn't know before, and now you see someone post on Facebook and you're like, wait, I have something that can help with that. And now you have a reason to reach out to them. And then there was something I was going to say that Melissa had said last summer about confidence. Let me see in my notes. Oh, so Melissa Eichenhorst, when you talk, you always exude confidence. Every time I've ever listened to you, from way back in February of 2016, when I started my Plexus journey, I have watched you and you have always been so confident, like you just know all things Plexus. And I believe you do. But I'm sure that there are plenty of times when Melissa doesn't feel like she knows all the things. But something she said was, you posture yourself in confidence. You be bold, you be courageous, and you present it as if you know all the things. You have confidence. When you reach out to someone and you talk to them, you present it as if you have something that they need and they're going to say yes to you. Because if you approach someone as if you think they might say no, they might say maybe, maybe they're going to ask you questions you don't have the answer to. If that's how you approach it, people can hear that. I think even in a message that's, a message on Facebook that's just written out, I feel like people can read between the lines and tell that you don't believe yourself. So I know that I put that in my notes. I felt that that was important, that even when you don't feel confident, which I am not at this moment, that you still act as if you are. And I think it's okay to be real with people too and say, hey, you know what? I am kind of nervous about being on this call, but I know that I need to do this to grow my business. I might have something to say or something to offer someone else who is a silver and just wants to be a gold ambassador, and that they know that they can reach their goals, that they can achieve these different contests that we have as a silver ambassador, because it is possible and you can do it. Do I have time left or no?
Yes, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay. So talking about last year, I know 2020 was hard for a lot of people. 2020 was like the best year for my Plexus business ever. And I think 2020 was the best year for a lot of people's Plexus business as well. But the beginning of 2020 was not the best for my business. The beginning of 2020, I struggled to the point of questioning whether I was even where I was supposed to be. Is this business even something that I'm supposed to be doing anymore? You get to that point where you're like, okay, here we are. I'm trying to like count the years, 4 or 5 years into my business. I guess I joined in 2015, not 2016, but whatever. 5 years in, and here I am, still a silver ambassador. Like, okay, what's not working? What am I not doing right? Maybe this isn't for me. And Erin reached out to me in April, and she said to dig in and, like put everything you got into working your business in May. And at that point, she didn't realize or know that I was struggling and questioning my existence in Plexus. But I said, okay, for May, sure, why not? Like, what do I have to lose, right? And I pushed hard in May, really hard. And I did things that I didn't want to do. I got on the phone with people. I hate talking to people on the phone. Unless you're my husband or like one of my super close friends, I don't want to talk to you on the phone. No offense, but I just don't. That's not me. um, and I say my husband because he works out of town. And so that's kind of the only way we communicate right now, unless he comes home on the weekend. Um, I'm not a phone person. I would, because you can't control, like, I can't go in and fix something if I say the wrong thing. I can't go in and gauge what I'm going to say. If I send a message to someone, I can type it out 10 times and then, you know, erase and go back and make changes to it. But if I am on the phone with someone and they ask me a question and I don't know the answer, like right now, I feel stuck and I lose that that boldness and that confidence. But I did in May. I got on the phone and I made phone calls to people. I did more live events in May and June than I've ever done in my life. Um, and that really propelled my business forward, putting myself out there, being vulnerable, sharing my husband's story, sharing my own personal story. um, you know, I believe that that's what really moved my business forward. And being bold and reaching out to people, I think something I really struggled with, and I think a lot of people struggle with, is figuring out how to approach people about the business aspect, and how to get them on board with sharing and, you know, having an event or things like that. And we held a ton of events in May and June because we had figured out how to approach people without, you know, in being bold, without being afraid of what they were going to say, without prejudging people. I feel like, not that I'm a judgmental person, but I feel like we see certain people on our friends list or we know certain people and we go, okay, I know that you're not really interested in the business. I already know that. I know that you know, you just want the pink drink. So I'm not going to offer you a welcome pack. I'm not going to, you know, push the business. I'll just accept you as a customer. And I really shifted my mindset in May and June and said, but I'm playing small and I'm not offering them everything that our company has to offer them, because what we see on social media is like this much of somebody's life. We have no idea the financial struggles or the health struggles that them or their family or their friends are going through. So to just assume we already know what they want without offering anything else is really a disservice to them, um, in the long run. And for me to kind of understand that, I want to help people. I really do. And if Erin had never shared about Plexus, and I know you guys hear so many stories where you're like, if so-and-so had never shared about Plexus, like my life wouldn't be the way it is. But really, if Erin had never shared, Erin had really no idea the struggles that my husband was going through and health-wise. And this company, these products really gave him back his life, just like it did for Erin. And I tell people all the time, if there's just one person that is struggling and I could help them, oh my gosh, that's it. That's all there is. So to hold back and to keep like that prejudgment about people and not offering the business opportunity to them, not saying, hey, you know, you signed up with this welcome pack, and if you get 3 people to join you, then you can earn X amount of money, and you could be helping, you know, 3 other people have an extra couple $100s in their pocket um, each month. Or you know, you could help them, you know, not struggle with migraines or not be laid up in bed every week, or, you know, whatever the situation is. But really changing your mindset from that prejudgment of knowing like, okay, I don't want to hurt your feelings, or, you know, like, I know you already said you're not really interested in the business, but sometimes people don't understand what that means. I think the person we're talking to has like a preconceived notion of what network marketing is or what the business is or looks like. And until we share with them something that, you know, maybe sparks their interest, they just continue to go, okay, well, I can't do what you do. But, you know, yet yesterday she was on social media going, hey, I ate at this really nice restaurant and had this wonderful meal and this great service from this server, and, you know, everybody should go there. Well, hey, I just mixed up this pink drink and I feel amazing and I don't have headaches anymore, and you should drink this too. There's no difference there. So anyway, I think that when you shift your mindset from just kind of thinking that you already know what people want, and then and stepping outside your comfort zone when you do that, I mean, is life changing.
Yeah, you're so right. And I hope you guys really heard that like, this is my interpretation of what you just talked about with your messaging. You didn't just accept what you assumed they needed. You were bolder and assumed they needed more. And so you offered more. I think that's the key there to why you were so successful in earning that leaders retreat in 1 month. And then and then how you grew so exponentially through the summer. And here's the other thing, you guys, I hope you heard from Heather: more action equals more opportunity. That's what she was saying over and over and over in all of her experiences so far here in Plexus, is that when she has more action, she has more opportunity to grow. Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you so much. I know it's not easy, but you did amazing. We're going to move over to Nikki. I think you are here. I'm asking you to unmute right now.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, you have a really unique, really quick, I want to share with you my very first memory of Nikki. She sent me a message and she was not growing. She was a silver. This was several years ago. And it was during a time where our group was doing a book called The Secret Code to Success. And I sent her a message back and I said, are you doing Secret Code of Success? And she had the book, but I don't think you'd opened it yet or necessarily done much of it. And so I said, this has got to come from personal development here, because you were kind of paralyzed by fear. You're a helper, you're a nurturer. And so I encourage you to dig in. Well, then I met her in person, because you're in Utah and I was in California at the time. And we went to lunch and you started talking about how that book had changed everything, like everything for you. You were still silver. You were still silver at that meeting. And so I would love for you to share a little bit about how personal development has totally changed your mindset about your comfort zone.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I go back to that conversation that Erin and I had often, and I have quite a few people on my team that are on this call, and they're going to hear a lot of the same stuff that I give them. But I never realized how big self-development is in this business until Erin and I had that actual breakthrough conversation. And I still have that conversation in our messages, and I always go back to the assignments that she made me do. And I even have had my team do it. And in fact, I have my team right now reading The Secret Code of Success. And it is the craziest thing how I'm getting more out of it, or different things out of it this time, because I'm in a different space. So the conversation that Erin and I had was we had to get rid of my head trash. I had such bad head trash that I had to get rid of it, and I had to hit it head on, because this business is 80% self-development and 20% skill. You don't have to know how to do this business. You just need to believe, or have somebody believe in you. It really starts with somebody believing that you can do it, you believing in somebody else to do it, and then believing in yourself. You don't have to believe in yourself. You just have to have somebody that you trust to believe in you. And that was what I had. And that's when I started this business. So I joined April of 2016, and I was not going to share this business because I didn't want it. In fact, I said bad things about people that were in this business. Like, I was not doing it. But my sponsor believed in me. So I began to share. When I got my first person, it was no longer about me. It was about everybody else that I brought into this business. And that's exactly how I am almost 5 years later. It is all about those that I bring on and what I can gain and what I can develop them into. And when I came to Aaron in person in January of 2018, we were in California. They last minute sat down at a luncheon with my husband and I, and it was amazing to feel the difference from September to January. And I was in a conversation at the time with who is now my biggest runner, Lisa, on that trip. And she signed up a couple weeks later because of her daughter, and we took off. And after that, that was in January. I went gold in like March or April, and then I went senior gold in June or July of that year. Okay. Then I sat at senior gold until just recently back in June, I went ruby. Let me tell you what the shift was. Okay. The shift was my complete mindset. All right. And I still don't have a lot of people that are running this business under myself. I have a lot that are running under people, but myself, I do not have a lot of personally sponsored running people. However, it has been my self-development that has gotten me through. So January of 2020, my paycheck, you guys, was like a few $100s at senior gold. And I was like, okay, there has to be a change. What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? I messaged Autumn. I messaged Aaron. I messaged like anybody I could think of. Tell me what I'm missing. And the end of February 2020, I got myself a life coach. I have a friend that I've been friends with for years and years who decided to do life coaching. And she approached me and she's like, everything that you've been saying, you need a life coach. I'm like, what the heck is a life coach? I thought it was a counselor. Like, I had no clue. And I have been meeting with her, you guys, weekly since the end of February. And with her, I have had my mind sat in a really good space where I can now believe that I can be emerald, where before I couldn't believe that I could earn that much money. I was capping myself at a senior ruby income, you guys. And because of her, I have now consistently added 1 to 5 people every single month since April. And you guys, that is huge for me because I'd never been consistently adding people to my team of myself every month. I would say I would do it, but I would never dig deep and do it. And so because of that, and I've stayed in this very good mindset, and I believe in myself now. I believe that I have something to offer. I have value to people. I believe that I have something to offer more than just my tender heart. I know I have confidence in this business. I have confidence in being a leader, and I have confidence that I can develop anybody who wants to is willing to be developed. And my team gets tired of hearing it. We do a mindset every single Thursday. We've gotten together every Thursday for the last 3 years. And it started out as just sip and sees. Then we were slowing down and getting people in person. And so we decided to switch it to mindset. So we do mindset trainings every single Thursday. And I know that that is the reason my team is sitting in a good headspace with where they're at. Now, I haven't kept my numbers of Ruby. I'm going to be honest. My numbers have fallen backwards. But I don't focus on that because I'm focusing on those that are staying and those that still need this business. And as long as I keep developing and I keep recruiting, I'm going to be fine. And my team's going to be fine. And has it been hard? Yes. Have I consistently stayed in a good space? Not always, but I bounce back out of those down times a lot faster than I did. You guys, I used to sit in horrible, horrible down spaces for months. If a comment was made to me that crushed my enthusiasm or anything, it took me, I think, 5 months usually to bounce back out of it. And now I'm like, no, I've got work to do. I've got people to help. I've got things to do. There's still things that I can work on? Yes. But I highly, highly suggest, if you haven't read it, The Secret Code of Success, Chapter 4, Affirmations, completely changed my world. It was changing your affirmations to questions, because your brain is wired to find the answers to questions and not believe statements. So I can now believe statements of certain things, but when I'm struggling with some, I flip it to a question, and lo and behold, my brain will go to the negative. But if I work on it consistently, I can constantly bring myself to a positive space in it. And, you know, even getting on this call, I don't have a hard time talking in front of people, but as I was swiping through to see who was on this call, I saw Melissa, I saw Amber, I saw Erin, I saw Megan, like I saw all the jewels on here. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I have to bring to these people? Like, I've been in this 5 years. I'm still sitting at, I'm not where I want to be, but blah, blah. And then I'm like, wait a minute. No, I have value to bring, or Erin wouldn't have asked me to do this. So see, even somebody who works on their self-development every single day of her life now, I still doubt myself. So I have a couple of books really quick, and then I'll turn it back to Erin because I don't know how much more time I have. But the books, Secret Code of Success is a must-have if you guys have not read it, okay? That is your next book you need to read. Then I found this one by Jennifer Allwood. I brought the books with me, okay? This is a brand new one. It's Fear is Not the Boss of Me, or Fear is Not the Boss of You. Now, this one is geared towards women because she talks powerfully to women. And I know we have some men on here, but this one, she does bring God into it because she's a very spiritual woman. However, this one brings out all the things and possibilities of fear, you guys. It is amazing, and it's an easy read, and you will be so into it. And I've never been into a self-development book as strong as I was to that one, because she just speaks truth. Like, she talks like a normal person and had massive fears in her life that held her back. The other ones are Rachel Hollis. I read both of hers, Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing. Those ones basically gave me the okay to let go of any fears or anything I felt like I was apologizing for, because I used to apologize to people for giving them this stuff that they need, or building these people up. And then I was like, no, like, I'm in a good space right here. I have value, and I don't need to apologize for the value that I bring. So those, you guys, for self-development is key. I highly, highly suggest it. Erin has watched me come full circle. And you guys, my goal, and I'm throwing this out to all of you, is Emerald by July 31st. And it's scary. And if it doesn't happen by July 31st, I don't care. It's going to happen by the end of this year. This is my year. This marks 5 years, and it is my year.
I have weird chills. I was actually trying to scroll back and see if I could find our conversation. And you guys, Lisa and Nikki, some of their story is available for you to watch on Plexus Worldwide. I think it's on the YouTube channel. Might also be in the back office. It doesn't tell the depth of, and sometime we need to hear Lisa's story, like the depth of what happened. But if Nikki had not changed, Lisa would probably say she'd know where her family would be and where she would be as a parent. Yeah, it makes me emotional because I know the story, and it's absolutely if you have any doubt in our products, you will have no doubt after really listening to what happened with them. And if you have
Maybe
any
I
doubt,
could get on, do an interview of her on Pink Diamonds or on Plexus, on Icon Horse, because everybody needs to hear it. They really need to hear what we've been through, because it'll show you that you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and you can't keep your mouth shut. Like, once you hear it, it's like you will want to walk down the street and start handing out your card. I mean, it's just so powerful. Thank you so much. I want you guys to catch a couple of things that Nikki said. First of all, when I think about the Nikki who reached out to me and the Nikki I'm seeing here, it's like a completely different person. But there's one, did you guys catch how resilient she is now? How things would paralyze her for months, and now she's able to bounce back quickly. Like, she recognizes that. And we've been talking about resiliency over the past couple of months. If you are a yellow, I want you to listen to Nikki's words. I'm going to repeat them right now. If you are a yellow, you have more to offer than just your tender heart. You have more to offer. And then the last thing I want you to really hear, and she said it so many times, I have value. I have value. I have value. Say that, you guys. It is just, this was so good. And that book, I'm going to be getting that. So good. All right. So if you want a link to the story, just go to Plexus Worldwide YouTube, and does it have your names in it on the title? I think it does. Yeah. Put in Nikki and Lisa, or just Lisa, maybe. I don't know. I'll link it in our Jewel group, and then Jules can put it on, our pages and stuff, so you guys can take a look. But Lisa's last name is Cude, C-U-D-E. She might be on, I don't know. But you guys, thank you so much. Girls, wow. I am just absolutely blown. I have taken pages of notes. And right now, one thing I really want you guys to do to take away from today is that we believe in you. We believe. That is why, you are here for a reason and a purpose. So do not forget that. And if you need to borrow someone's belief, go to your sponsor and ask them. Let them say words of affirmation to you, and borrow their belief until you have your own. Nikki's last name, Allen. But Lisa just put in the comments, it's Lisa Cude, C-U-D-E, on YouTube because of Plexus. Allison, Heather, Nikki, thank you so much for sharing. We appreciate you guys so much. I hope you guys get on Amazon or Barnes & Noble or somewhere and start ordering some books and pouring into yourself. And let's get out of our comfort zone in 2021, shall we? All right, guys, have a great Saturday. Bye-bye.